I've been to 3 concerts and I love the whole atmosphere. Everything's really good, and I think Matt said once, you feel with Suede like you're part of a community. You know, everyone's there, and then you feel really this is your place for the while. You know, this is brilliant. This is what teenage life is all about, really. Suede is so important to me because what they say is just so me in a way. I just think, yes, that's how I've been feeling, you know, and someone has been through what I've been through.
The station's probably the most interesting thing about AOT3. Because it's the way out of the place, I suppose, really. My best friend at school, we were both punks together, yeah, so we were in the punk gang. And then one day I was walking to school and he told me he decided to become a headbanger. And, like, you know, my best friend, we were the only 2 people into punk in the school, and he decided he was going to become a headbanger, and he sold me all his punk records and bought a load of Deep Purple records and a denim jacket and some patchouli oil, and bought a load of studs for his denim jacket from the market, and became this headbanger, and completely kind of disowned anything to do with punk. I was into Crass at the time. I used to have a red skiing jacket, so I didn't dress like a member of Crass. I had a red skiing jacket which I sewed a Nagasaki Nightmare patch onto, which is the name of a Crass song. I don't know really what I looked like. I probably looked like a twit. Sort of remnant from the late 1970s with a home-done haircut, which most people wear at that time.
Here to see Suede and have a weekend, well, a weekend that starts today in Brighton.
A long weekend.
On the sea. Before we go off to Poole and Newport.
Yeah, we come from Hayward too. We think you're brilliant.
Oh, I'll send you a fancy. Do you remember getting it?
When I speak to the fans, I do feel as though they understand what I'm talking about. Occasionally, you'll meet one who you really think knows what you're talking about, down to the last detail. Because, of course, people never can quite delve inside your mind and misread things, but occasionally I meet one of them and there'll be a look in their eye which says that they completely understand what you're talking about. Coming along later?
Yeah. You should just write like a little letter or something.
Okay. Why don't you come back afterwards?
Yeah, where would you be after?
We'll be in the thing, but they'll let you in. They will say.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
I perceive them as being very important in the music business, you know, a very important part of the music business today, because there was such a vast gap in indie music particularly, and I think Suede came along at the right time.
I saw Suede first at the beginning of 1992, and I thought they were exceptional. They weren't headlining or anything, they were just on a bill with other bands, and they stood out, you know, like the proverbial sore thumb. When I decided to put Suede on the cover of Melody Maker and called them the best new band in Britain, I felt very strongly that they would be able to carry it off. I would not have taken that risk because it could have destroyed a group to do that to them, because all of a sudden you make them victims, everybody's out after them, trying to disprove what you've said. I felt very strongly that they were the best new band in Britain. I still think that they are.
The reason Suede became so successful so rapidly was because the critics loved them, because they were no different, exactly the same as everything the critics grew up with. They hark back to an era of rock and roll that the critics understand, kind of 1973 down the front of the Hammersmith Odeon, watching David Bowie perform all his latest hits. And the critics went with that because everybody wants to hear the music they first grew up with, so they foisted it upon the rest of us.
I don't agree when critics say that they're just, you know, 70s carbon copies or whatever, because I think if they were, people would see through that and just think their music's too 70s orientated. We're not interested, but I don't think people say that, because for us, the teenagers who are Suede's target audience, we haven't lived through the 70s as teenagers, so we don't know what the music's like.
But I don't want to that way. Take my thoughts to roundabout, 'cause me and them, we like to get out. Oh, what you do in your heart, you do in your heart. Oh, it is time.
The first time I met Brett, it was at a party somewhere in Hayward Heath, and the next time I saw him was when we were both at the same college, and he was playing Beatles songs for some reason on an electric guitar in one of the rooms, and I think the first thing I actually said to him was, "Do you want to be in a band?" Because I was in an incredibly dodgy sub-goth band at the time. And me and Brett just started messing around in his bedroom, playing terrible kind of sub-folk acoustic rock. The moment that Bernard turned up is the moment Suede started to be anything. Basically, because he just made me and Brett buck up our ideas completely. I mean, one of the first things he said to us was, at the end of the very first time we met him, was he asked how old we were. And we were both 22, I think. So we both said, "Oh, 22. And he just said, "Oh, you better get a move on then." Which was incredibly cheeky from him, because it was the first time we'd ever met him, but it was completely true, because we had up until that point been quite happy to mess around thinking up good names, or thinking what would be on the sleeve or something.
I watch the skyline for him to come, and when he comes along, we'll be gone. We'll go into the city, into the light. We'll be there in the headlines, there overnight.
The time when I met Brett, it was just, I just thought he had a great voice, and he was nice, and he looked good and all that, and the main point was that I knew that I never wanted to be an acoustic guitar player strumming at the back and sort of being happy like that. I always wrote songs from the moment I learned how to put two chords together. That was the first time I wrote a song, and so I'd always wanted to be a songwriter.
This is the big time. This is the way. Now he's in the big time.